Hi guys, how are you? Nice to be back together in this opportunity. We are opening a series of videos where we are seeing why we celebrate what we celebrate. What is the origin behind each of these celebrations? How we he came up with everything as we celebrate today, so we can attach our faith and our practices together. So what the things that we do, we really make sure that they are in agreement, in accordance with what we believe. Okay, so this series is, the purpose is to strengthen our faith and to shake down any other thing that wants to attach itself to what we believe in. Okay, so the what we are going to get into this in this video is who determined or how was it determined that the 25th of December was the date where our Savior Jesus Christ was born. And we to answer this, we have to go way back to, yes, to the 4th century. In this period, was the Pope Julius I that was the one that was the first that determined or wrote about this date, specifically associated with the birth of Jesus. So he wrote a letter to Cyrus of Jerusalem, and later on this letter was picked up in the 8th century, and from there it was divulged openly. How did he get to this date? How was this really made achieved? Yes, because in the Bible there's no date recorded. So to answer this, we have to dive in a little bit into the Roman culture at that moment and different things that were happening at the time. I wanted to, before getting into this, I need to share something that's recognized not just by Christians but other historians, that there's part of a Roman culture in their mindset, in the way they do things, is when they were conquering different peoples around the world, they first kind of made a spiritual warfare. In the first place, they recognized that the ruling spirits of gods of that land were foreign, were of these other people. So what they did is they started worshiping them. So in that way, they recognized, yes, who were the gods of that land, and by worshiping the Romans, also worshiping them, it was a way to gain their favor. It was a way to manipulate, yes, the spiritual into their favor. So they can, so the spirits wouldn't fight against the Romans and just leave the natural fight. Yes. So was something that they've been doing really since centuries and centuries, and there's ample evidence of this in many places. Yes, of this way of thinking or way of doing the things. Okay, probably the most known way they do this is with the Greeks, because the Greeks had a very large and very structured, very ordered way of having their gods and related, and what were the gods for, and what all the images and the icons and all the stories behind it, behind each one of them. How Aphrodite, for example, is the Greek counterpart of Venus. Yes, and they maintain everything like that. It's just changing the names with very subtle or very small changes in appearances or on different things. Yes, the same thing happens with Ares, or yes, in the Greeks, or Mars with the Roman, or Artemis and Diana, and Demeter and Ceres. There's lots. You can really go into this and and for each Greek god there is a Roman counterpart associated, and just alike. Yes, with the same, let's say, attributes or authority over. Yes, just say sex, love, sun, or war, or whatever. It's exactly the same thing, just changing the names. And they did this because it was their way of making warfare, and their way of conceiving the spiritual and how to be able themselves to sustain themselves in time, yes, over foreign lands. So we see this. This is part, yes, of how everything is done, and even this has passed on into the Roman Catholic Church in the 15th century when they came to America and they conquered different peoples in America. You could see how they really changed names and did exactly the same thing. They said, okay, you believe in Mother Earth, that's your God. Okay, now in Spanish we call that Mary, for example, and this we call him Joseph, and this just changed names to the different practices, different celebrations, different things, and that is a reason why we have so many different practices, even difference between, they're all Catholic, let's say, but they're different because of the country. And that this is a reason, because each country had its origins and its culture and the things and their way to celebrate things, and they just move the things, maybe. And maybe they for example, the Aztecs celebrated the dead in a certain way, but they did it in July. And okay, so what they did, okay, we'll celebrate it again, but let's, instead of July, we celebrated the 31st of October or the 1st of November, and that's the way how they kind of keep the appearance of everything, just to change the names, maybe change the dates where the different people celebrated things, but just to coincide and to get this kind of yes, normal, common interpretation of the spiritual things. So this is something that they've been doing through centuries. Okay, it's part of the Roman mindset, let's say. So one of the other things that we need to understand also is that in December there's throughout every language, every nation, every pagan, there's a solstice in the northern hemisphere, and in the southern hemisphere will be in July. Yes, that's the moment of the year where the days are the shorter and the nights are the longest. Yes, that's exactly the period of the time, and they determine this date accordingly. So, and each people each have lots of spiritual significance about this date, because of the winter was associated with the darkness, with death, with the need of protection, with the need of be able to pass the winter and get to the spring, and for that they sought the spiritual protection and all this. So this is something that's done worldwide in all the different religions and different things. Yes, in the pagan ones. So this is something that it was really important, and most of the most important celebrations is always associated with this solstice. Yes, you can see different nations, different people. So what the Romans celebrated, their way of calling it this solstice or this celebration was Saturnalia. Yes, this was the name of this celebration. This name comes from Saturn, the god of agriculture, and they celebrated the 17th of December, and this lasted a week. Okay, so in this celebration, you can see how different things were going on in this celebration that some way and somehow it yet it overlaps it, and now today we celebrate certain things according to this, yes, with this origin. So Saturnalia was a week where there was a lot of freedom in a wrong sense of the word, where there was a lot of excess, yes, in different things. There was a more of one of being people that were drunk or overeating. There was the only week in the year that gambling was authorized, and it was something that really get into excess in every way. Yes, well, everything was kind of permitted in this week of or badly called freedom. So this celebration started with a sacrifice in the temple of Saturn. It included very big banquets, even public banquets, with lots of food, where the food really was the center of everything. There was also they gave gifts to each other at this moment. There was this spirit of continual party, yes, throughout this whole week. When the gambling I already told you about, and there in this week the masters served the servants. Yes, it was a week there where freedom, yes, in that sense was, yes, and the masters had their time to serve. So in all of this there was also lots of candles associated with this feast. Yes, because as the sunset was early in the day, everything has to done in the night. So candles were associated, and the candles were associated with the seek of truth, with the seek of knowledge, and all this in ways to, yes, to enlighten or to give birth again to, yes, to the light. Yes, so the days would get longer. Okay, and in this celebration they also named what they called the king of Saturnalia, and this was kind of, yes, it was kind of a joke thing where they named someone that could make crazy rules just for one day, and everyone had to comply or to make them, and he was treated as a king just for one day. Okay, and this practice we could see even evidence in the Middle Ages. I'm talking about 1,200 years even after this, with the certain changes, yes, different things. Maybe they didn't call him King of Saturnalia, but they call him the bishop. Yes, the new bishop was ruling in this day. And this was celebrated the 28th of December. It was called the Day of the Innocents. So that is one part. The other part was also that in the 3rd century, it's ending the 3rd century, there was an emperor in 274 AD that he declared that the unconquerable sun was the official Roman religion. Yes, or Sol Invictus in Latin. Okay, so this was determined or decreed by this Roman emperor. Not only that, but he also decreed that the birth of this unconquerable sun was the 25th of December. So in this, even this god, yes, is a Syrian god. Remember I told you that the Roman, yes, kind of took foreign gods and changed the names. So there's also evidence of this, how they took the name, yes, and they created this. So this unconquerable sun was the principal, yes, deity. It was they used it in his image was in the coins of all the Roman Empire. It was really the most important religion or deity in the Roman atmosphere. and this was even more so in the Roman legions. Yes, in the army, it was very, very strong there. Yes, because of all that unconquerable. Yes, and how they worshipped it. And there's many reasons and many opinions that really see how they there was this Pope Julius was just trying to give a Christian alternative to Saturnalia. Yes, just keep doing it, but in a Christian way, where certain things were changed, but certain things remain, as you can, I think, obviously see how the way they celebrated even has come into even today. Yes, many centuries after this. So we can see this as the origin of the 25th of December, because there was no date. Yes, there's no knowledge about that date, and they had to pick one, and the one they picked was the birth of their yes, the most important deity in the Roman concept. Yes, so they can combine both of them. Yes, and have this synchronization, yes, in different pagan and Christian, and trying to make Christian something that's really pagan in the bottom. So this obviously has nothing to do with Jesus. As believers, we really don't want nothing to do with Saturn, nothing to do with unconquerable sun, nothing to do with all this excess and all these things. But as I think we can all see how the way we celebrate Christmas, or how we celebrate the birth of our Savior, really has a lot of mixture, a lot of components, a lot of things that really don't have to do with Jesus. Yes, we'll prepare another video where we talk about what was the origin of Santa Claus. Yes, and where does he come from, and how did he ended up in this Christmas celebration, or the same thing with the Christmas tree. We'll do another video and share about going to what's the origin of the Christmas tree, and what does it have to do with Jesus. Yes, and why is it that there's so much, yes, marketing or compulsion to buy things, even pressure obviously in the overeating and in the excess, and different things that really don't have anything to do with Jesus. Yes, so our seek is trying to seek in His light, so our faith can be polished, our faith can pass through fire. Yes, and if there's anything that it doesn't come from Him, yes, that it might be purified in fire. Yes, so that when we really celebrate that Jesus was born, that we can really acknowledge Him. Yes, and celebrate Him, and ask Him how He wants us to celebrate, how He wants us to acknowledge this. I know this Christmas and yes, how the Christmas spirit and this moment is very, it's very dear to heart, because we have nice fond memories and nice things, and it's all an enormous thing. Yes, and it's very hard to separate, but let's pray so that we can ask the Lord that He might teach us and help us to separate the things that have nothing to do with our faith, have nothing to do with Jesus, and that we might embrace Him. Yes, and release. Yes, just not fall into these other things that are just mixture. Just it's something that comes from centuries ago that has nothing to do with Him, and so that we can celebrate Him the way He likes to be celebrated. Yes. So this is the purpose of this video, this series, so we can, in the seek of truth, in the seek of life, we can, yes, purge our faith and really believe in a pure form. Yes. So we can embrace Him. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned with us. Bye bye.